back, everyone. We are in the greenhouse and we are planting today. So here in Minnesota's zone 4B, it seems really early to be planting seeds. We're in about mid-February and I ideally like to start a few things this time of year. So today we're going to be starting our celery seeds. We're going to be starting our onion seeds, and we're also going to be starting some leeks. Well, if we could get it all done. So first up on our agenda today is our celery seeds. If you missed yesterday's video, go ahead and go back and watch it if you'd like. But we are using our own potting mix, and I'll walk you through how to make the potting mix if you'd like to make it yourself. But we're going to be using our own potting mix and our soil blocker to make some blocks of dirt here to get our celery started. Now I'm planning on starting 50 starts this year. This is the amount that we started last year. And unfortunately last year, some of you know, with our celery harvest, it did all right. But when I went to harvest it, I put it in the fridge, and by the time I got to it, it was gone. I just wasn't on top of it. It happens. So this year I'm hoping we do much better with our celery because we put all this effort into it, starting it so early in the year. So for celery seeds today, I am going to be planting a variety. I have some tall Utah celery. I have both some seeds from Seed Savers and I have some seeds from Survival Garden Seeds, so I'll probably try some of each of these. Now the Survival Garden Seeds, this one just says Utah, not tall Utah, which actually might be better for us if the goal isn't to get tall. It probably needs a shorter growing season. But I'm going to be starting some of that, as well as some tango celery from Johnny Seeds. Now we have a lot of seeds this year from Survival Garden Seeds, so you're going to hear us going back and back to that because I'm just so excited to be starting there, and they were very affordable and just great to work with. So lots of celery seeds to start. Now I'm using seed blocks, soil blocks, so that each of my celery plants can have its own space to get started and get growing. And then I do want to make sure I'm planting a variety of celery in case one variety doesn't do as well as the other, or some of my seed is a few years old, and in case it's just getting to the point where it's not going to germinate. I like having my options available, and it would stink to not know for a while and then have to restart all my celery because none of it germinated. I had a good chuckle because we always do 50 cells in these, and as I'm going along I'm like, this looks like more than 50, so I counted them quick. We're at 55. Somehow I fit another 5 in there. So 55 celery plants is how much we're going to have this year. If all goes well, right? All right, I got 20 of the tall Utah from Seed Savers seeds in, and then I'm going to plant some tango. I think I'm going to do 20 of these too, because these are our older seeds, and then I'll do the last 15. I'll do the new ones from Survival Garden Seeds, the Utah. Ooh, if there's enough. There might not be 20. Not all my seeds do I cover with a clear plastic cover, but celery is one that it does better if you can keep it wet. So I'm going to cover this best I can with these old covers. I never did pick up more, so, and I've got my sticks in there. Now, because we are in Minnesota, our weather is kind of unpredictable this time of year. Like, we can get snow out of the blue in February, March. So for now, my seeds are going to be in the greenhouse in the heated bed. They'll be under this tarp, and then the dirt itself is heated. And then I'm just going to be watching the weather and kind of seeing if they need to move in, and if they do, I'll just set up an area with probably lights and things in the house. So for now, they're going out here. Honestly, I'll probably move them before the day's over is my guess. Just I can feel like a chill coming in here as the day's going on as I'm planting. So that's where we're at. But for now, they're going on the dirt. Now next up are my leeks. Last year I had really good luck doing these in soil blocks. Now obviously that's more time consuming than the way I do my onions where I just scatter them on the dirt. But my leeks did so well. It was our first time planting them. I think I'm going to do it again. So 50 or maybe if I fit 55 in here is what we're going to do today. I'm going to see what varieties I have. And then I'm going to be sure to shut my container because I left my celery container open just sitting on the shelf and the condensation from in here in the greenhouse was dripping in it. So some of my celery seeds got wet. So I'm a little nervous about those and storing them from here on out. So last year I planted King Richard leeks from Johnny Seeds. And the package I had 250 seeds. I don't think I planted a full 50. I might have. I think it was more like 25. Then I also have American Flag from Survival Garden Seeds. So what I am planning on doing is doing a full tray, half of each perhaps, because I don't think I'll be able to use all these up. If I was going to use all these up, I'd do that and then switch over to these two. Now these American Flag ones by the image look kind of small compared to the other ones I got, so we will see. We're going to shut these onion seeds so that does not happen to those. Alright, I've got 50 cells in here, so we're going to count that as good. And we're going to get these labeled. Now I just use popsicle sticks and label them. You know, I know a guy who can make me some fancy laser cutout things, but the truth of it is this is such a temporary thing that I don't mind doing something like this. So, let's see, we've got leeks. The first ones going in are going to be that King Richard. If you're not familiar with leeks, because I wasn't, I had never had one until we planted them last year. They're in between, I would say, like a garlic and an onion, and they're just very mild. And we used ours. We made a ton of potato leek soup. In fact, I think we have maybe like a quart jar left in the freezer of it, and that's it. We don't have any more after that. So that was super fun to do. And then I used all of the tops. I used those in broth, and they just made amazing, amazing broth. So that was kind of fun too. Let's get this other one done too. And then the other one is the American Flag from Survival Garden Seeds. So what I do is I just stick a popsicle stick in there, and then I point an arrow, like everyone here and that way, so that I can kind of tell. And even when they fall down, the bottom always stays in the same spot. So even if they fall, I know which ones are which. Alright, King Richard first, so that's this half. They look pretty similar to an onion seed. Hands are so nasty, but you can see them if you want. Got all that good compost on my hands. There's still a whole bunch left. Yeah, this was 250 seeds. These Survival Garden Seeds, I don't know how many are in here. The thing I really like about this company so far is, I mean, there's a few things. I really like the affordability, the just no thinking about it, just ordering a set of seeds, because their most common way to order seeds is you just order a pack and you get just a variety of things. And then I also like that they instruct you how to save seeds from everything. I think that's just really cool. Now, I don't think I'll be needing leek seeds for a while, so I'm not too concerned with it. but it is nice knowing that. And I do have some onion seeds I saved. And this year was kind of a bad year or this last year, for saving onions. It was just so wet at the end of the year that I had trouble getting my seeds to dry out. And then when they finally would start to dry out, most of the seeds were falling before I could get to them. So we might end up with a lot of volunteer onions this year, I guess. All right, leeks are planted. Now, as far as onions, what I typically do is I just do a tray of dirt, and then I will just sprinkle the seeds on. But Matt wants me to try a tray with soil blocks like we did for the leeks. So I don't have enough dirt for that, so I'm going to mix up another batch. And I will have to make sure the consistency is decent. Oops, sorry. I will have to make sure that the consistency is decent for soil blocks. And then all my other onions I'm going to plant, I just want to make sure it's wet. I'm not as concerned that it's going to hold together because it's just going to be flat in a tray. Can get these over there. I'm not covering these. Alright, so I've got my 50 soil blocks set up for my onions, and I don't think it's really a great test to see how much better. I'm sure these are going to do better than the ones I dumped in, but I don't think it'd be a great test if I just picked one type of onions and did them this way. So I think I'm going to do some of each. So most of my onions are the Walla Walla onions and the red burgundy, and I got these from Survival Garden Seeds. I did go in and purchase some of these extra, and then they did send me in one of the packs some white grano onions, which look like a little bit of a smaller variety. And then I have just, you know, miscellaneous. I found these Northern Gold onion seeds in the cupboard that say they were packaged in 2016. Like, I'm gonna just dump those in somewhere else. I'm not gonna waste my soil blocks on those because I don't know that they're gonna come up, but you never know, they might. And I mentioned I had a little bit of hard time saving seeds for my onions this year, but I did save a couple flower heads, and this is as far as they got. You guys, sometimes this is just the way it is. So they got to the seed drying rack. It was 2 flowers worth. I don't even know what kind of onions. And then I just threw them in a bag. So a lot of these are still dried in the flour and need to be sprinkled out. So these will also get thrown in one of those containers rather than these. So I'm going to split these up somewhat evenly between the Walla Walla, the red burgundy, and then the white grano. Alright, I think I'm going to do 20 of the Walla Walla just because I'm pretty sure that's the one I have the most of. And then 15 each of the white grano and the red burgundy. Now when you're using these soil blocks, what is really nice about them is they have this little indent on the top. So you might notice I don't actually make a spot typically to put my seeds because there already is a spot indented right in them. I imagine the more bulk seed planting you're doing, the more time that certainly would save. Alright, so we're going to do 20 of these. And I try to just put one seed in each cell. I struggle to cut off growing plants, so to me it's easier to just try to get one in there right now. If it doesn't come up, I can always add a seed later, but yeah, I don't know, I just struggle with that. Alright, so it looks like these Walla Wallas and the white grano are 8 to 10 days for germination, and then the red burgundy are 7 to 10. So they'll all be popping up. Next week or so is what it says. Typically, my stuff takes a little bit longer if I start it out here in the greenhouse. And I think that's just because I don't have the normalized temps, sunlight, all the things you would have if you have more of a controlled environment starting them inside. All right, super simple. Love it. Now let's do those bulk onions. So one thing I want to encourage everyone who is gardening to do is to take notes. You learn so much as you're going along gardening, and you think you're going to remember it, and sometimes you forget some of the simple things. So before I sat down to plant my onions today, I looked back at my notes, and it was funny because last year I wrote that I thought I could fit 750 seeds in one of these trays. The year before I wrote, I think I can fit 500 seeds in one of these trays. And then for this year I wrote, I bet I could fit darn near the full 1,000 in this tray, but maybe stick to the 750. So I just think it's interesting to kind of see you gain more knowledge. What did I start with? Did I start with 250 seeds in the tray and realize, wow, I can really go up from here? So it's interesting to just kind of see that. So I don't know what, this is the typical size of a tray. I would say it's, Matt's going to tell me I'm so wrong, 18 inches? 18 inches by maybe like 8 inches, something like that. Give or take. I'm so probably off. But anyways, let's see what we've got for onions, and then we'll decide how many of these we are going to fill. So ideally, I'd like to keep my Walla Wallas and my red burgundy separate now, since I have so many of them. And then I do have some kind of miscellaneous. I'll probably... What's up, honey? I do have some miscellaneous onions, so I'll probably do one that's just completely miscellaneous. So I made sure to fill my potting mix pretty close to the edge of the container. Now, it's something through the years I had to learn the hard way, because I tend to be a frugal person, and to me it only made sense to put less dirt in here, and then I don't have as much dirt I'm putting into it, therefore I didn't spend as much on the dirt. But the truth of it is, if I don't fill these up high enough, my little seedlings never see the light, especially the ones around the edge. So you need to fill them up high enough so that when they pop up, they're already seeing sunlight. So they're pretty full. Now each of these, I know I counted them at one point. I was thinking they were about 250 seeds. They just have them by weight on here. So that would mean 4 of these is 1,000. I think that's kind of a lot. Let's see. So if we do 2 trays, 4 each, that's a tray of red burgundy, a tray of Walla Walla, and then probably 1 tray of miscellaneous onions. So I think that's a great way to start. So we're going to start with that. Start with these Walla Walla onions, and I'm putting in 4 packs from Survival Garden Seeds in here is my plan. Now I want to disperse them the best I can. So sometimes that's easier said than done. I don't think this is 250. Oh, maybe. Okay, maybe like 200. That's my guess. So I'm going to try, I've got 4. So let's start in the middle here and work our way this way. And the problem is if they get too close together, then, you know, one will push out the other one. But really you can fit so many in here. Okay. Yeah, I think I could fit more than the 4 bags, or the 4 packs. I might do a little bit more. Yeah, I'm guessing these are closer to 200. Because that would put it at 800. And if I thought I can fit more than 750, and I can fit more than what I'm doing. I mean, they're tight. They're everywhere. Let's do this other side. Now, the reason I just love planting onions this way, you saw how I planted the other ones. It wasn't really too tedious, but that was for 50 onions. If this is, you know, upwards of 1,000 onions, it's a lot faster. I don't know, I might keep it at 4 packs. Alright, survival garden seeds. If you're ever watching this, will you list how many seeds are in your packets? I think that is my only complaint thus far. Because I just know how many onions I want. We do still have maybe all of our smaller onions, about this big, a small handful, maybe a dozen left from last year in the fridge. Now that's certainly because I had so much in the freezer, but I haven't had to buy onions yet this year. All right, we're on to our red burgundy. So we're gonna do the same thing as the last one. I've got 4 unopened packages. These are also from Survival Garden Seeds. Okay, there's nothing right here. Let's see what we've got. I've got more Walla Walla, more of the white. I've got an open pack of red burgundies. Let's do that. So this will be like 4.5 packs, probably a little more. Now, if you want, you can just take your hand and kind of, you guys kind of see where I am? Just kind of pat these down a little bit so they stay in the dirt. But just make sure to check that you don't have any on your hand afterwards. All right, we're gonna do one more and then we're gonna be done for today. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of dirt left over when we're done here. I just leave it right here in the bin for the next time I'm planting. Now, of course, whatever water I added is going to probably dry out by then, and I'll have to re-add the water. But as far as everything else goes, everything else is mixed up. Granted, it won't be too much left. Done with this for today. Just gonna set it on the ground. Don't worry about spilling it while I'm doing these last ones. Now, this is just going to be miscellaneous onions. I've got chives and stuff in here. I'm not going to start that till closer to starting my herbs. I know I probably could, but yeah, I just need to get these done. So we've got a partial pack here of Walla Wallas. I didn't get very far. A whole pack of Walla Wallas. The rest of the white granos. And last one is these Northern Gold burpee onions that were packaged 7 years ago that I can't get open, apparently. Oh, I do have those save seed too. For now, I'm going to save my seed packets, at least one of each variety, so that I can come back and look at things. I find it really handy. I know you can usually pull them up online, but I find it really handy to have them if I want to see how long something was supposed to take to germinate, or how long before it's supposed to produce, and things like that. So a lot of these are still in the flowers, so I'm going to kind of see what I can get out here first. I'm just throwing the flower heads in too, because they're going to compost in there. We're all good. Rather than picking all the seeds out. There's not a lot in this one, actually. What's left in the bag? So I'm rubbing these around in my hand just to quick get out what's in here. You can kind of see, here's the flower heads, and then the seeds are these little black rock looking things. But here's one that didn't open yet. Kind of just pop them right out. I'll just pat them down. Here we go. how many onion seeds do we plant? I don't know. Last year you guys told us we needed to change the name of our channel to the land of 10,000 onion seeds, and I thought that was quite funny. So forever will be in my mind. So maybe one year we'll get up to 10,000 seeds, but I'm sure we're just over 1,000 here. So I hope you enjoyed this video and glad you got to see me again. Bye.